Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm doing my portfolio weekly review. First off, I'm going to say it's crazy. We have like over 900 subs now. Like, when I started this, I never would have thought that would have happened. So I just wanted to thank everyone that's been supporting the channel and spreading word, because like it's pretty cool to see that growth. This video might be kind of long, so I did do a lot of trades, and I might also talk about some personal stuff, or I guess personal goals might be the way to put that. But I'll use chapters when I go to that section. If you don't want to listen to that, you can skip through that. So first off, the daily close snapshots. As you can see, a lot of green days during the day, and one red day. I think that was mostly Visa dipped on Tuesday for me. Other than that, most positions were going up pretty much. Now, what I don't like about the daily close snapshots is that it doesn't show you the whole picture. So even though if you add that up, would that be about 2,500 or so? You would think my account would be up 2,500, but it's not, because I actually lost money during the closed hours of the market. So that's not really captured if you just look at your daily close snapshots. So actually, overall, my account's only up like 600, but I also deposited $1,000 this week, so I'm actually down in terms of returns. But if you look at the daily close snapshots, it looks pretty good. Here's the progress report review. As you can see, my account's up 600, although I did deposit 1,100 this week, so not a return from the market, just a return from adding more money to the account. But all I care about is the account going up in value, whether that's through contributions or through return. Either one's fine by me. Realized premium for November is up about another $600 this week, so that brings us up to 1902 for the month of November. Pretty cool. It just shows you the power of options. Uh, Year to date, up 53,000 for the year in terms of realized premium. Wish that was higher, but at the same time, like, that's a lot of money. Like, that's mind blowing to me. Uh, Here's this other view that shows you my month by month breakdown. As you remember, I had a couple months in there that I had some huge realized losses. Most of that from here is from Baba and Wish, if you remember. And really, October is pretty good for me. Just I realized a lot of losses on the first day of October. So really, that I feel like that should be up in this column here, but whatever. If you look at my year-to-date totals, last year I made 36,000. This year I'm up 48,000, almost 49,000 combined between like this last year, man, 3/4, 85K, and that's more than I make from my day job. Uh, this week's trades, a lot of trades in here. A lot of these are just pretty self-explanatory. I like to sell puts on stocks that I think will go up, and you'll see a lot of that in this uh, log today. DFS, I sold the 105 put, collected 140, a little 1% return. Expires December 23rd. That seems to be a popular strike for me right now. I'm not liking that. When you get to my current positions sheet, you can see I have a lot of stuff expiring that week. And I tend to like to spread stuff out, but it just seems like we're getting really good premium for that week for some reason. I don't know. I gotta start like mentally stopping looking at that week, because I already have a lot of stuff on it there. Monday, I did close my 750, 780 bear call on Netflix, and that's because it was at over 50% profit after just a couple days. So like, let's just take it and run with it. KMB, I sold some cover calls on my leaps. I think this actual position here is down now, but collected $125 per contract. So the nice little $375 in my pocket. And if this gets breached, I'll have profits from my leap and other calls I sold that would be a profitable position overall. I may actually just roll this one if it gets breached, depending on how far it gets breached, instead of closing down the poor man's cover call. I closed my 15 rocket puts that were expiring on November 19th. Then I opened up 4 for the January 21. And you can see I closed the first ones for $6 each, locking in almost a $200 gain. And then my next set, I opened up 4 for 56, so potential, what is that, $224 profit potential right there. But obviously I'll be closing it when it gets down to the pennies again. I did sell a V put last week, and that was up almost 50%, so I decided to take that off just in case Visa dropped again. TQQQ sold the 145 put, got $425 in my pocket for doing that. Hopefully TQQ starts going up again. I think it's been trending down the rest of the week after I sold this. So this is actually a negative position right now. I did sell another put on O, 67.50. This is one of those plays where I'm fine owning it at that price. So I'll probably end up just rolling it anyway if it gets breached, but I wouldn't be upset if I decided to take the shares and get that dividend every month. Palantir, I ended up selling some 22 strike puts, which is a little higher than I said I wanted to do it. And then I also sold a call spread, the 32 strike and 40 strike, to kind of juice that premium up a little bit. So I got 81 cents for this. And I was thinking that it's unlikely to get tested on the call side. The put side might get tested, but collecting that little extra premium for selling the call side brings down my break even. I think it was like 35 cents or so. So almost half of this value here is from the call spread. So it's a iron condor without the bought put, because I'll take assignment of the shares if I need to. So maybe that's called a broken wing condor. Probably. Who cares what the name is as long as you know how it works, right? TTD, I decided to sell a 100, 120 bear call. I actually sold 2 of those. And if you can see, the next day, TTD, actually, I think I sold this on Monday. Tuesday, TTD got up to 99. And then Wednesday, it went back down. And I was able to close it for a profit. So I decided to take that and run with it. And I think Friday actually breached my short contract if I would have still had it on. So it just shows you, like, if you get to like 50% profit or something doesn't feel right and you have a chance to get out with a profit, take it. Because right now this would be a negative position if I did not close it for a profit and I was being greedy. So just something to think about when you're selling these positions, especially if it's a spread, because you obviously don't want to maybe actually spreads as much. I did sell a Roblox put at the 60 strike. I think this was actually before earnings. And I was kind of bullish on it. There's like a lot of good news coming out for it. And then the next day, Roblox shot up to 100. And so obviously I closed this down $85, and I had to spend $20 to secure that. So that's like, what, 85% profit or 80% profit? Pretty big profit. Just took it. Why wait the extra? Why wait till December to get $20 worth and give Roblox the time to move down and hurt me in the end? So took that profit, locked it in. What else did I sell here? We sold Workhorse $6 puts. I sold 2 of those because the premium was very enticing. I don't think it'll get down to $6, but if it does, like, it's $600 to get 70. The return there versus the risk of getting assigned, I think, was pretty good. And we'll just ride that one out for a bit and see what happens. Newegg, Jerry from the GW ETF channel, put this play on my radar, and I thought it was good, so I decided to sell a put on it too. Newegg shot up to like 1950 or 1980, but the premium for the $10 put was ridiculously high. And Newegg tends to trade around like the 11 to 12 range. So again, the $10 put's below a lot of support. And it was trading for 70 cents. Like, I couldn't resist that. I don't know how I resisted put on more contracts than just one. But that's how I got into NEG. Talked about that. Coinbase, I sold a bear call on it, the 440 to 460. I think it was trading at like 350. This was before earnings. Then that afternoon, earnings happened, and it dropped down to 320. Came back up to 330 or so. But obviously, I was able to close this call spread out for a pretty good gain. So I collected $70 for it, and then I gave back $6 to close it down to just lock in that gain. Clorox, oh, this was my oopsie daisy. So it turns out, I think it was last week, I sold the Clorox 155 put, and I saw that Clorox was going up, and I'm losing value on my put. What's going on? Turns out I actually bought the 155 put instead of selling it. So I made an oopsie and had to correct that. And that mistake cost $67, and it just feels silly to have done that. I don't know what else to say other than I made a mistake. I bought instead of selling the 155 put. So that cost me $67. Just make sure that you're doing what you expect to do, when you look at that trade confirmation. After I closed that, I immediately did sell the 155 put. I mean, I'm pretty sure I sold it, right? There you go. For 135 credit, and just had to move out a week. So that'll make up that loss and still get a little profit out of it. But still, that's a $67 mistake. I think that's the third time I've bought instead of sold something. Although the other ones were like PMCCs when I was first learning those. Going down this Netflix 700-705 bear call, which I had 4 contracts on. It was sitting at like 80% profit. I decided to go ahead and take it. I think it would have been safe to run and let expire worthless, but let's just take that risk off is what I was thinking. Hyliion, after earnings, they dropped, and overall, I think that was an overreaction. And basically, I'd be fine owning Hyliion at $6, so I decided let's sell some puts. And at 20 contracts, this is a $12,000 position, pretty much, if I was assigned. And this would be one of those that I would take assignment and just hold the shares. And I think eventually, like maybe 2025, 2026, there'll be a pretty good profitable company. So I would not mind holding that long. And anytime before that, like they can have some catalyst news event come up and their stock can skyrocket pretty quickly. So I thought it was like a good risk reward scenario here. Obviously, the risk 12K. So if Hyliion went down to 0, I could lose 12K or minus the premium I collected. But yeah, he's been essentially 7% of my account right now. So it's a pretty heavy position for my account. Zoom, I sold some 220, 200 bull put spreads. I decided not to go naked, and by doing this, I'm only risking $2,000 per contract, 2 positions, so $4,000 risked to get $400. So like a potential 10% return right there if Zoom stays above 220. This was sold before earnings. I think earnings is next week, so it's a little bit more riskier than I tend to play. But I think we'll be fine. I would like to see Zoom above 750 before earnings. I think it's a little bit below right now. It got under that 750 support, which is a little alarming. But we'll see what happens. At worst, I lose 4,000 here, minus the premium. Beyond shot down after earnings like 15%. And so I decided to sell some bull put spreads. I sold the 70 put, bought the 65, and collected 56 cents per contract. So I ended up doing 3. Each one of these contracts is about $500 risk minus the premium. So $1,500 bet here to make 150 or 162 bucks, whatever that comes out to if you add it up. Virgin Galactic, I sold some 17 puts. It's going up. I wish I would have got more premium for this, but at the same time, it's a pretty good return here. I think this goes out to, there it goes, December 17th, so it's not even that long of a contract. And getting over 2% return on risk here. Sold 4 contracts there. QILD, if you... this is one that I'm using like gamification, so if you want to learn about some weight issues here, go ahead and use the chapters to skip ahead to where I have it chapter marked as Fubo. But basically on Monday morning, I stepped on the scale and saw a number I did not like. And so instead of being all butthurt about it, I decided what was I going to do today to fix the problem, and decided to make a bunch of changes in my habits and trying to incorporate that right now. So one thing I'm changing is I'm going back to keto, obviously, adding intermittent fasting, and then some bad habits I formed is I've been eating breakfast at McDonald's every morning on a work day, and then I go out to eat every day for lunch. So instead, I'm going to skip breakfast, or at least I'm not going to eat out on breakfast on work days. And then during lunch, instead of eating lunch, I'm going to go back to my routine of going to the gym instead. And between that, I figured I would save like $15 on average for each workday that I don't go out to eat during those 2 times. And so I decided, you know what? Every day I don't do that and I succeed in like not doing it, I'm going to buy a share of QILD. So I think that's going to help motivate me to stick to that, because I love seeing like a position grow, and then you can just see how many days I've stuck to that like new habit that I'm trying to form here. And so there you go. So QILD, I bought 5 shares. and that cost me $114. So that would have been money that I would have spent on fast food. So instead, it's going into a new position. So it'd be fun to see that grow eventually. And I deposited a hundred, or sorry, deposited. I was going to deposit $1,000 on Friday, and because I had to buy those shares of QILD, I bumped it up to what the cost was. So there you go. So that's the new thing I'm trying. Is I'm going to use investing as a tool to motivate me to stick to my new diet and choices. So we'll see how that goes. Moving on, Fubo. This one was a play brought up in the Discord. I forget who it was that brought it up, but thank you. I thought it was a pretty safe play. $60 for $2,000 risk, about a 3% return, and just gotta wait time on that one. I think it'll be a safe one because Fubo tends to go up, right? Uh, Nothing set to expire this week. Next week, I only have the Newsy plays expiring, and those will be 100% profit. I'm not gonna close those really early. Realized total is 683.77. This is the trade log that you guys like to see because you can see when I put these trades on, and you can see the average. You can see the days I held that. I have a lot of 1 and 2 day holds this week because there were positions I opened up that showed a lot of profit, so I decided to take it. You can see all the commissions I paid on all these plays. So I think that's useful if you're trying to think about going to interactive brokers because all these trades are in interactive brokers. And I'm realizing that pretty soon here. I gotta get my new spreadsheet out because the end of the year is coming. It's a great time to make that switch. Current positions, QILD. Seeing a lot of green again. AT&T just seems to keep going down. I lost 50% so far, but I have been selling covered calls against that. So the loss is a little less than this, but I'm pretty sure we're red overall on that position. IBM, still not entirely sure what I want to do with that position, so I'm just letting it sit there for a bit. On some days, IBM shoots up and this goes up pretty good, and then the next day it goes back down. I'm not sure what to say. KMD has been going up, so I'm not even sure what the price is right now. But you can see like the call that I sold is actually down, but the leap is up. When I sold this position was actually negative when I sold this call, so they offset in my favor. It looks like. What else do I have here? Well, the Hyliion long play here that we have, instead of being up 300% now it's down almost 300%. So that's kind of funny to see. And I think that pretty much wraps that up. So moving on here, you can see my last week Friday close. The account was at 174,000, and my maintenance was only at 32,000. This week, I sold a lot more new positions. I have a lot more premium cooking, so potential to make more money for the month. And so my maintenance has gone up to 40,000. My net lick is up, but I did deposit some money, so the return was negative this week, but the account's up because I made that deposit. All right, I'm curious, how did your week go? Hey, post like your profitable trades, and if you had some losers, post them and talk about what you learned because it's fun when we learn from each other. I'd love to read that, and I respond to all my comments that come in. So until next week, guys, have a good weekend.